Events are one of the biggest reasons that people play Tower Heroes, but what if they're slowly killing the game? This is coming from somebody who has every exclusive skin before you say anything. The first few events in Tower Heroes were pretty much the same thing. A new map with a set of 3 skins and a new hero. For Halloween 2021, we were introduced to the Halloween packs, which gave a bunch of cool stuff, like followers, a skin, and a mod, which honestly deserves a video on its own. But for Christmas 2021, we were introduced to the Advent Calendar, which gave us Jack, which was pretty much a generic 2-phase boss, but it was the best mod for grinding. And also the Jack mod and the Jack follower were separated for some reason, but it's nothing worthy of note. It introduced us to the Rain branch skin, which Rain as a character was first introduced for a Halloween weekly, but this event really fleshed her out as a Christmas character, and pretty much replaced Wafer for every Christmas related icon going forward. Easter 2022 didn't give us anything unique, but for Halloween 2022 we were introduced to the Battle Pass system. This introduced Butter, which is one of the 3 enemies to have defense in the entire game. This also had the same thing with both Butter Follower and Modifier be separated, but unlike the Advent Calendar, there wasn't a way you could get only one. Spider Stella and Pumpkin Quinn are probably the best skins for their respective heroes, but I'm incredibly biased towards Halloween skins. Halloween 2022 introduced us to our first exclusive boss that's never gonna come back with a unique gimmick. And let's be real, it's the only enemy to actually use defense. Kinda stupid, but it's only one enemy. Christmas 2022 introduced us to the Battle Pass system again. Tier 4 introduced us to the most random follower ever. Like, who is this guy? He's not a boss, he's not a skin, like who is this guy? Krampus is really interesting, but other bosses have done the multiple summons thing before, but I really like his design. The final tier gives you the Jack skin, a character from a previous event which was kinda meh, alongside the advertising for the event having the Raiden skin everywhere like I said. Easter 2023 skins are worth making a video of their own, but it introduced the contract system. I want to talk about the mini laser skin because it's really stupid. So basically it's Scientist's new canon design, and whenever Scientist is used, they use that skin, such as quests like Lil Chip, Doors, and Rolladay, and even the Make a Quake quest. It's also used as a basis for every Scientist skin going forward. The problem is that it's an event skin. The canon design for a hero is locked behind an event. And when they teased the skin, we thought they'd be doing a Scientist rework, but they had to clarify. It's just really weird how they just made a skin to replace default with, but they also locked it behind an event. Both Christmas and Halloween used the contract system. Halloween finally gave us Alistair, finally giving us the Halloween mascot, and Christmas gave us Carol, which is just another mascot to put alongside Rain and Wafer, who will also be used for everything Christmas related. Both gave us the hardest maps in the game, which are comparable to Bleak. Halloween 2023 contracts aren't too much to talk about because a lot were RNG based and were intrusive on actual gameplay. Speak about how many times a run died because Creepy Guy spawned before Wave 25. Conductor was mainly a reskin of Tiny Express. Meltdown's gimmick was used for Cake Monster and also games like 20 times HP on Facility Raid. I genuinely do not know what Pumpkin Twins do. And Cursed Champion is similar to Pumpkin Reaper, but that's also an event boss who is locked behind Robux. Christmas 2023 was largely the same. Lumber only serves to say that they hate raid maps. His gimmick requires a map to be built around it, so it makes sense. Overcooked was reused for 1x1x1x1, and Christmas gave us our first minigame in the fan art board, which got completely removed after the event ended. This event also gave us Frosty Mountain quests, which got removed at the end of the event. 2023 was really a bad year, as they spent most of the time making event content, and they only got 3 permanent pieces of content, but they released alongside events rather than being updates themselves. For April 2024, we got the Balloon Pal minigame, which was actually pretty cool and fun, but again, it got deleted after the event ended. It also gave us a really unique follower, which isn't really related to Easter, but it still got removed. We also saw the return of the Tower Battle skin and Gun Wizard skin from the previous April Fool's events. Burrow Brawl was actually made to be a permanent map last minute, which is actually pretty cool on them. They also advertised it as an event map, which is the best of both worlds. The Power Egg gave us Chisel, and the final reward was Tutoro for Stella. The rewards are either entirely different characters or already existing characters without some sort of event-related skin to make up for it, neither of which are really Easter-related. 2024 was when we finally see the actual problems. Halloween 2024 gave us a rerun of the contract system, starring Vanessa, Alistair's daughter. It's weird how they make one-time skins for reoccurring characters. We got a lot of boss contracts with unique gimmicks. Inferno has a really cheesable gimmick, but at half health he explodes into a bunch of Infernos, and you have to kill them all so he doesn't become invincible. Farland's Folly is an entirely new map made for a contract with new enemies that still spawn because it's considered a normal map, and a boss that spawns a shadow, and honestly, my favourite design. Draco Bloxer was the first time we got a boss that spawns multiple times, Mirai doesn't count, and to be fair, it's hard to design a boss that would make sense to do that. Toxic Hazmat could have very easily been a weekly if it wasn't a contract. Kusari gets an honourable mention because it's the skeleton rogue thing, but way longer and faster with a rebound mechanic, which are stuff we have seen before. The entire reason the update took so long was because of the FNAF minigame, which the first good thing they did was keep the quests like Toxic Hazmat and Warden and the FNAF minigame after the event ended. Christmas 2021, I still haven't completed it, but the main character is Elf, a random throwaway follower from the 2022 Battle Pass, which I don't really believe you get him from 100%ing the event. The main characters are still Rain and Carol. Half the rewards in the event are recycled assets. I'm not going to talk about how half the assets are recycled, but this gives me this idea that they want to re-release old event skins, but they don't want to. I can literally head into a lobby with the elf morph from 2022, and I'll probably get people asking me what the crafting recipe is to get the elf follower, but I don't have the heart to tell them. They keep making entirely new characters or just making normal non-event characters into event skins and acting like they're normal content so they get referenced in future events as if they are still obtainable. The main character for the Christmas event is literally the rarest skin in the game. The cannon design for Scientist is also a very rare skin, but also literally everyone used it because it was in the Doors quest. Half the work is spent making content that will only last a month at max, which leads to Tower Heroes only ever getting 2 to 3 normal updates a year, compared to 2021 where there was a big update every 2 months or so. And said content in events is often better than the normal game, it's just a lose-lose situation. They genuinely have a reason to spend a month on an update, but it's just wasted. With how they have the Christmas rewards, it feels like they want to re-release old event skins, but they don't wanna. All it adds is FOMO and goes against the entire event stuff comes back they set up with previous events, and again with the way they treat current event skins. The minigames keep getting talked about coming back, but like, they're just not doing it. The effort it took to make the FNAF game and the steps to get it, again, is just kind of a waste. Is it really worth considering that it was the reason why the event took so long? And they're never gonna make mods for contract bosses for some reason. I suppose there isn't much of a solution for the contracts part. They were designed with the intention that they would only be active for a month, and it would be pretty annoying to see Kusari being activated every time you want to do title takedown, let alone level 5s that want to do it for the drop skin, though I suppose the same could be said for the Void quest. Toxic Hazmat is still playable through the special quests menu, and theoretically it could come back as a weekly. Farland's Folly, I believe, is being added as a normal map. Lumber and Meltdown were made in response for their hate boner towards raid maps. Experiment 32 relies the most on its contract. I suggested this before, but I think this game needs a contract category for all the egg hunt, advent, and contract followers, because they add a ton of bloat to the categories. Like, all 3 event categories have over 100 entries, with half of them being related to contract enemies. I'm a firm believer of event content being more permanent, because there's no point in actually making something if it's just gonna disappear forever after a month. I made this video in response to how half the Christmas event is recycled assets, and how they have Rain, Carol, and Alistair as returning characters, and how a lot of the contract bosses have more unique gimmicks than other normal mode bosses, which is also my main gripe with Tower Heroes, with how there's so many gimmicks and stuff to make enemies better, but they stick with generic stats. It's probably why I like Burrow Brawl and Silent Sanctuary so much.